Hello, my name is Matt Dustraus, agronomist here at CropTech Consulting, and today we're going to go over some tips about how to get a good calibrated yield map. Here at CropTech, yield maps are very important for us and our customers because we use that spatial variability, especially as we get into VRTing population and nitrogen. The yield map becomes a very important piece of that puzzle as we're fine-tuning our management zones. But there's some things we can do even before we go to the field with that combine in the shop or in the yard to get started with the calibration process. A couple of those would be the temperature and vibration calibrations, so we can start those before we ever head to the field and save some time there. Once we get to the field, as we're taking off the end rows, that's when we want to use that time to get our grain cart calibrated. So if we've got scales on our grain cart that we're using to calibrate or keep track of weights, that's a perfect time to start doing that. So after we get the grain cart calibrated, then we can move on to our moisture calibration. There basically we harvest a set amount of grain, pull a sample out of that tank, send it off to the elevator, and then enter that moisture offset into the monitor. And then lastly, we'll move on to the yield calibration. So here for an older series deer, with a green star, a low flow, high flow calibration, basically there'll be 2 points, one targeted at 80% flow, one targeted at 40% flow. So basically we'll run our standard speed for the standard flow and then cut that speed in half for the low flow calibration. For newer S-series deer combines, case combines, precision monitors, ag leader monitors, all those will basically want to do 5 different speeds. So we'll target 20% flow all the way up to max flow. And so as we're doing these yield calibrations, we're basically going to want to figure out what distance it takes in the field to get to our 6,000 to 8,000 pounds, and then we'll run that distance for each speed, dump the grain onto a calibrated scale cart, and then compare the actual to the monitor weights. So how do we figure out what speeds to run for our calibration? Well, at our website, croptechinc.com, we've added a calibration calculator that basically we can input different numbers into, and it'll spit out our calibration speeds. All right, so when we get to our website homepage, we can just hit this Combine Calibration Calculator in the center, and that'll take us right where we need to be. Or we can go to the top right under the Services tab, and there we see Combine Calibration Calculator as well. So once we get into this website, we can enter our average harvest speed or what we think that will be. So here I'm going to put 4.5 miles per hour. I'm going to say our max yield to calibrate for is going to be 275. Our header width is going to be 20 feet. And the area we're calibrating in, our ends made 220, so I'm going to guess that we're going to be calibrating here in 230 bushel corn. Then we hit calculate speeds, and here it'll give us 1 through 5. Our fastest speed is 5.4 miles per hour, and our slowest speed is 1.1 mile per hour. So we would encourage you to start at the slow speeds and work up to the fastest speed, and then we give you your bushels per hour there on the right. So as the yield changes or flow changes, or we get into drier corn and we have higher capacity, we may have to recalibrate because we no longer have a point that fits that flow on the curve. So if we want to test this out, we can just go back and re-enter numbers, change our speed to 4.0 mile per hour. We can change our yields around, play with that, and see how it changes those calibration speeds. We also get a lot of questions of when to recalibrate. For us, we're going to want to calibrate at least once for each crop. And then if we get into a significant moisture change of 4 or 5%, we go from start out at wet corn, maybe 24, 25%. By the end of the season, we're getting down into 18, 19% corn. That's going to warrant a recalibration. And then also if our accuracy starts to drift off and we're off more than 3 or 4%, that would be another time to recalibrate. To stay up to date with CropTech, follow us on Twitter or visit our website at croptechinc.com. Keep her safe, keep her moving.